Chapter 11, Lesson 1 and 2, Dividing Fractions. They start out as dividing fractions, but once we make some adjustments, all we're going to be doing is multiplying fractions like we did back in Chapter 10. But there are some steps you have to do before you multiply them. So let's go ahead and get started. In Lesson 1, you're going to have a whole number divided by a fraction. For example, we're going to have 4 divided by a half. So that's all lesson 1 is in chapter 11 is multiplying a whole number divided by a fraction. So 4 1/2. So here are the steps that we got to take. First thing we got to do is just like we did with multiplication, you have to put a 1 below the whole number. So now we have 4 over 1 divided by a half. So that's step 1. The next thing we're going to do is KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. We're not actually going to do anything with Kentucky Fried Chicken, but KFC stands for keep, flip, change. Keep, flip, change. KFC. And what we're going to do is we're going to keep the first fraction. So we're going to keep 1 as is. And then we're going to flip a half and make that 2 over 1. And then we're going to change the symbol. So it's going to look like this. So we're going to keep the first number. We're going to flip the second number. So we're just going to flip 1/2 into 2 over 1. And then we're going to change the symbol from a division to a multiplication. Keep, flip, change. So that's all you have to do to make it a multiplication problem. Now you just work it out. 4 times 2 is 8 over 1. And then, of course, that's an improper fraction. So 8 divided by 1 is just 8. So your answer is 8. So we keep the first number, flip the second number, change the symbol. Before we did that, though, remember we put a 1 below the whole number, just like you did with multiplication. So we have 5 divided by 1/8. Step 1 is to change the 5 and put it over a 1. And then we're going to keep the first number, flip the second number, and change the fraction. So keep, flip, change. KFC. And then we can go ahead and work it out. 5 times 8 is 40. Bring over the 1, and of course 40 divided by 1 is 40. In lesson 1, all the answers are going to be coming out even. For example, we've got 3 divided by 1/4. Put the 3 over a 1. And then keep the first number, flip the second number, change the sign. Keep, flip, change. 3 times 4 is 12 over 1, and 12 divided by 1 is 12. And that is all that you're doing for lesson 1. It's a whole number over 1, keep, flip, change, multiply it, and then change it to a whole number. Lesson 2 is pretty much the same. We're going to have a fraction divided by a whole number. So in lesson 1 we had a whole number divided by a fraction. In lesson 2 we have a fraction divided by a whole number. So before we had the problems look like this. But in lesson 2 it's going to look like that. So lesson 1, 4 divided by a half. Lesson 2, a half divided by 4. So the same rule applies. We put the 4 over a 1. And then we continue up here. We're going to keep the first number. We're going to flip the second number and change the sign. So keep, flip, change. Even though that 4, we put it over a 1, we're still going to flip it. Now we can go ahead and just multiply it straight across. And now we'll get common fractions. 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 4 is 8, so 1/8 is your answer. So what happens if we have 6 divided by 8? Again, this is still to do with fractions, so we have to turn these into fractions. So 6 divided by 8, we're going to put each number over a 1. And then we're going to do our keep, flip, change. Keep, flip, change. Now we can go ahead and multiply across. 6 times 1 is 6. 1 times 8 is 8. And then we have to reduce 6/8. And divided by 2, we're going to get 3/4. So 6 divided by 8, put both numbers over a 1, and go ahead and do the keep, flip, change, multiply, and then reduce. We'll have 4/3 divided by 12. Now, yes, 4/3 is an improper fraction, but we're not doing anything to it until the end if we have to. So, again, keep it the same. Put your whole number over 1, and then do the keep, flip, change. Keep, flip, change. Now you can go ahead and multiply it. 4 times 1 is 4. 3 times 12 is 36. Of course, you can reduce that. They're both divisible by 4. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. 36 divided by 4 is 9. So your answer is 1/9. So the trick is just to remember the keep, flip, change, KFC. Even though we put the whole number over a 1, we still are going to flip it and it change the symbol. A lot of mistakes they make is they'll put the 12 over a 1, they'll change the sign, but they forget to flip it. So hopefully this helps, and we'll see you in lesson 3 and 4. Oh, actually, let me do some homework for you. Okay, for lesson 1, there will not be any homework. What they give you for homework is not what we're doing in the book or what they need for the test, so there will be no homework for lesson 1. But lesson 2, there will be. So they will have this page to do for lesson 2. So let's start with number 1, 5/8 divided by 10. So 5/8 divided by 10 over 1. And we're going to keep, flip, change. And we're going to get 5 over 40. And of course that can be reduced. 5 divided by 5 is 1. And 40 divided by 5 is 8. So your answer for number 1 would be 1/8. Number 4, you got 3/7 divided by 4. So we're going to put the 4 over the 1, keep, flip, change. 3 times 1 is 3, 7 times 4 is 28, and we cannot reduce that, so your answer would be 3 over 28. Number 6, 7/9 divided by 2. 7/9 divided by 2 over 1. Keep, flip, change. And then multiply across. 7 times 1 is 7. 9 times 2 is 18. That cannot be reduced, so your answer is 7/18. Number 11, 2/5. Divide it by 10. Put the 10 over a 1. Keep, flip, change. Get 2 over 50. Of course, that can be reduced. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 50 divided by 2 is 25. So for number 11, you'll get 1/25. So that's all for lesson 1 and 2, and we'll see you at lesson 3 and 4.